What's happening, folks? It's your boy Naptown Born. You know how it goes. All right, so some of y'all who followed me for however long you followed me and have seen my other vids know that from time to time I like to pop on here, throw some points, perspectives, and opinions out into the air about certain topics. Today, we're not doing boxing today. This video is kind of inspired. It was outright inspired by a conversation that me and Precise were having about some of these topics. Now, I'm not going to get into our debate because that's, our debate. What I want to convey to y'all is today's topic for me is about government, a little bit about conspiracy, and my whole worldview. Now, if any one of y'all have still been subscribed to me since day one, which I don't think there's many, because I think the subscribers I had then probably left since my very first video. But if you are, then you've seen my New World Order video and what I think about it, and that hasn't changed. Okay, I'm going to be upfront about that right away. If you want to know my opinion, I'm not going to reiterate it here because I'm off on different tangents today. If you want to know about that shit, go in my video list. I don't take shit down, so it's all the way in one of my first few vids, and you can click on it and watch it your damn self. Anyway, long explanation and rant short, I'm for it. There's specifications to that, but I'm for it. Alright, let's tackle this as well as I can. I never really come on here with like a piece of paper in front of me, which sometimes I think I should. I should script my shit out and just read out loud what I write, because that would be much, much easier than sitting in front of a camera doing this. But it's hard for me to do that because I feel ingenuine somehow. I don't know. This video will be edited, be sure of that. But as far as conspiracies are concerned, man, I'm a skeptic all the way through. A skeptic about this, a skeptic about that. I'm a cynic. I hardly believe anything anyone tells me up front. Okay? Now, to some of y'all, that might lend you, that might make you think that I would believe in conspiracies more, but in actuality, there's hardly a conspiracy out there that I actually believe is real. From UFOs to truthers, and I fucking hate truthers. I just want to put that out there. Oh my God. To just anything. To religion. To me, religion is one of the most poisonous, largest fucking hoaxes that has ever been propagated on the world's soil. This is just it's ridiculous. All right, but as far as conspiracies with the government, why I don't believe in a lot of them is because, a lot of people think our government is set up anyway. You know what I mean? But in actuality, I don't believe that it is. I believe that votes do get people into office, and for some of y'all, that's going to make you click away from this video right away, because for some of y'all, you absolutely refuse to believe that still voting works, because they're just going to put whoever they want to in there. And if you believe in conspiracies, I would say that's a hard line to take, because isn't that exactly what they want you to do? They don't want you to show up. They don't want you to care, and they don't want you to vote for who you want. But my general national view about the United States is, here, a lot more than in some other countries, here our government is one of the purest reflections of ourselves. Let that sink in, because some of y'all, again, that's going to turn you straight away from this. Our government is the reflection of our nation, the people in it. Okay? I've never lost faith in government. Who I have lost faith in is the people. Okay? All this I don't vote shit and everything's a conspiracy and it doesn't matter anyway. Well, if it doesn't matter anyway, then why fucking bother talking about it, right? Why even bother dreaming up these conspiracy theories if it doesn't matter anyway? Because what the fuck are you going to do about it? Honestly. Shit. I've seen people on here tote tote guns and you know, big up themselves for wanting to ride on the government. Woohoo, yeehaw, cowboy it up. And to me, that's just one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, man. Because you're talking about mostly people who don't vote, but yet still bitch about government, and then are so angry that they want to take guns and go kill government. I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing works. And I've never seen anybody actually do it. So, to all y'all out there who are talking about one day we're gonna ride on the government and we're gonna blah blah, I don't believe y'all. Okay.
While we ranting and raving about gas, nigga, they made them gas. They got some shit that'll blow out our back from where they stay at.
The biggest weapon you could have to arm yourself against any corrupt government would be knowledge, research, participation. Because once you stop participating, you take yourself out of the equation. All right? I voted for Obama, and I'm going to do it again. Now, to some, that's the lesser of the two evils. To others, it just doesn't really matter anyway. And to some like me, it still matters. Okay? It still matters. It still matters who you vote for because it's a vote. All right? Back to the point. I've never lost faith in government, only in the people that it represents. All right? You talk about corruption in government, lobbyists, all this and that and the other. All right? We know the whole story by now. But in my opinion, most of the average Joes, black, white, red, brown, yellow, whatever, most of the average people walking around in this country are just as fucking corrupt, would make just the same choices, if not worse, just to better themselves. You know who does show up to vote? Old white people. Old white men, to be exact. And then everybody bitches that they're the ones that fucking usually profit from such acts. You know what I mean? Like, old white men show up to the polls, and then usually old white men get their way. Oh, wow, that's fucking crazy, isn't it? And just as much as I have a problem with people who don't vote, I have a problem with people who do vote, because this country has turned into such a selfish entity. We are, as a collaborative whole in America, one of the most selfish peoples I've worldwide. Look at other countries. Look at them. People come here for opportunity, yes, but we're no longer like number one in just about any fucking thing except the amount of money we spend on our military. Okay? We're not number one in anything else except the amount of money we spend in our military. Our defense budget is so much larger than any other country in the world that some of you who don't know what we spend should really look it up and compare it to other countries. It is fucking ridiculous. All right? All right, back to the point again. Like I go off on tangents. That's why this shit's got to be edited. My point being that as a nation we're selfish, so even most of the people who do go to the polls, they're voting for the person or persons who, if elected, would benefit them individually the most. And to these people I say, is that really what you're supposed to be voting on? When the founding fathers created this system and this freedom and liberty and all this, is that what they really intended you to vote for, was your own personal best interest? I'm asking. Because personally, I don't think so. To go to the polls and vote for the guy who would benefit you the most. Not everybody. See, that's the problem. We've lost our collectiveness. This is a nation of individuals. We are not a nation. We're a bunch of individuals living in the same fucking place. It's aggravating, okay? It says that this country was founded by geniuses and run by idiots. Somebody else's quote. I've never bothered to look it up. I've always agreed with it, okay? But who elects those idiots? We do. All right? Because we vote for the guy who wants to serve our self-interest the most. You know, and even when they get into office, usually it's not all the way. I say vote. I say vote, and I say vote for the person with the most specific policy, the least amount of donations by outside groups such as lobbyists, oil companies, yada, 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 et cetera, especially the banks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The person, you know, who you think in your personal experience would benefit everybody, or at least not everybody, who would benefit most Americans. Like, even if it's 60-40, vote for the guy who would benefit 60% of the nation rather than the person who would only benefit 40. In this country, people who benefit the most are the top 2% richest in the country. Because everybody is still falling for this hoax that is called the American dream. The American dream started out as just a place to live in freedom and liberty and not have to worry about, you know, other people fucking it up for you. The American dream was never meant to be you work hard and do this or that until you get completely rich out of your mind. But that's what it's turned into. Okay? The American dream has turned into this disgusting, twisted thing. The American dream now is based on greed. People who talk about the American dream want to be basketball players, football players, people who make millions and millions of fucking dollars. You know what I mean? That's not the American dream, people. The American dream is just to live comfortably but not luxuriously. It's to just be able to live and be free and do as you please, but you still got to work and all this shit. People think the American dream is getting so rich you don't have to work. You know, we're too sensitive. We're too selfish, self-righteous. I mean, I don't know, people. I got on here with the intention of conveying what I thought about America, and I've basically done it, you know, but not as clearly as I want to. When I say I've lost faith in people and not in the government, that isn't that I really didn't even lose faith in the people until not even when Bush was president, not even when they reelected his ass a second time. It was 2 years into the Obama presidency when people actually elected these Tea Party representatives into office, and I just sat back going, are you fucking stupid? The Tea Party, the tea baggers. I'm not going to call them Tea Party anymore. They're one of the most ridiculous fucking parties on this fucking planet. They're fucking silly. All right? And ignorant. Since they have taken over the Congress, every fucking serious debate has been on social issues and nothing, absolutely nothing about the economy. Yeah, it's brought up, but nothing is done. Nothing. Let me repeat that one more time. Nothing is ever done. And why I lost faith in the people is because the people elected those fucking clowns. Okay, they're fucking clowns. I don't care if you're a Republican. Matter of fact, I think if you're a Republican, you're probably more pissed off about them than anyone else, if you're sensible. They are so extreme and so against themselves. Look at what they stand for. All right, look at what they stand for. They stand for things that hurt them. It's completely fucked. It's completely fucked. All right. I guess I'm just tired of hearing, like, we spend so much time on these conspiracies. We spend so much time and effort trying to figure out the who's, the what's, the where's, the why's, and the how's of some of the most, you know, fucked up things. Like for instance, 9/11 and the truthers. Oh. I can't stand truthers. I mean, pardon me if you're one of the people who actually thinks the U.S. government was behind 9/11, that made it happen. I'm not with you. All right, I'm not rolling with that. That's not, to me, that's not sensible. I mean, and people have spent so much time trying to debate this. No, I don't believe what the government told us outright. I didn't even believe Osama bin Laden was really like a person until they killed him. And even now, I'm not even sure of that. How the fuck do I know? I haven't seen. I'm a guy. I'm a skeptic in everything. In everything, I'm a skeptic. I'm a skeptic about religion, so I'm atheist. I'm a skeptic about government, but I still vote, and I'm cynical. You know, I'm when it comes to the country and thinking of everything as a whole, I don't see how we can waste our time on something that's 10 years old now. Too little, too late. Okay? You don't have to believe what the government told you, because nobody really fucking stood up when we went into Iraq. And for anybody who might think we had reason to go into Iraq, we had none. There's no right reason to go in Iraq. I don't give a fuck how bad Saddam Hussein was to his own people. It's none of our fucking business. And here's another fact that people, who talk about 9/11 and going into Iraq and being in favor of it. Nobody likes to tell you that there were no Iraqis. No Iraqis who were on those planes. None. No Iraqis even had anything to do with the planning. Okay? Nothing. Nothing was mentioned about Iraq before we went into Iraq. Nothing. Not an Iraqi terrorist. Nothing. Okay? You know who were listed? A lot of them that I saw listed as their origin? Saudi Arabia. But we didn't go into there. Do I think that's a conspiracy? Yes and no. What I think happened is we spent, that I don't think 9/11 was caused by our government. I don't think they set it up. Yeah, sure, they were capable of it, but it would have been just as easy, if not simpler, if you really wanted to go into Iraq and be in all these wars, it would have been much simpler to plant evidence in another country of the WMDs. All right, like physical pictures and shit. It would be much simpler for us to have done that, I think, than to do what was done. It just seems like a highly complicated thing to accomplish something that could have been accomplished much simpler, if you get what I'm saying. That's why I don't believe it. It's not because I believe the government outright. It's because it doesn't really make sense why we would do that. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no upside. But again, I think the true conspiracy was the way Bush handled it, the way he used that horrible event in our recent history, and he twisted it and corrupted it into this war machine. That was the true crime. That was the true conspiracy. And I think Bush should have been brought to trial for war crimes. I think he's a war criminal. I do. I don't give a fuck if he's the president or not. Patriot Act regardless. Come get me, bitches. Sorry. But we spend so much time, like truthers, they spend so much time trying to convince other people that 9/11 was a U.S. government caused event, and then we completely look away from real issues. I just think that if we put our collective minds back together and fit the pieces of the puzzle back to where it used to be, and no, I don't pine for another age. I think that's ridiculous to be pining, which is another thing the teabaggers do, is they pine for this fucking age of history where they think everything was right and blah, even though the age they're talking about, tax rates were like high as fuck for them, but they pine for it. It's fucking I hate people who pine for the past like it's some like basically like it's a fucking religion. Like, if only we were in the 60s again or the 50s again. So fucking silly. That we spend so much time doing conspiracies and wishing we were in another place that we don't stop to put our heads together anymore. And we've got so good at fighting each other and polarizing each other and not ever coming together for anything anymore that I don't see any reason to stay here anymore. The only reason I'm here is because the economy is shitty and I can't fucking move. I can't move to another country. I've never had a passport. I gotta save money for that kind of shit. I gotta learn shit. I gotta learn another language. You know what I mean? I'm gonna move to Canada. Yeah, I do. Call me unpatriotic. I don't give a fuck. I want to move to Canada. That's where I would love to live. Just work just to pay bills and not really to be rich and not fuck up nature, and that sounds great to me. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I can, as soon as I have the money, I want to start doing these things. Get Rosetta Stone so I can learn French. Get money for these passports and start doing the paperwork necessary, if it's possible. Move me and my whole goddamn family out of this place, this cesspool of bullshit. Okay? I just... America pisses me off because, like I said, we spend so much time and energy doing silly shit that doesn't fucking matter. Like, even today, if they could come out with all the evidence in the world that the truthers are right, what the fuck is it going to change? What the fuck are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing. And I love hearing you motherfuckers who fucking talk about your guns like it's your third leg. Get the fuck out of here. You're never going to use it on the government. Ever. Stop bullshitting. Never going to use it on the government.
While we ranting and raving about gas, nigga, they made them gas. They got some shit that'll blow out our back from where they stay at.
Ever. Never will. Another thing I want to talk about is like civil rights movement and how we've strayed so far from this shit. And nutrition. Okay, you want to look at conspiracy? Start putting your time and energy into researching nutrition. Okay? I don't know much about it. What little research I've done has shown me that the food pyramid is a bunch of bullshit. Okay? It is bullshit. A quote from I can't even remember the doctor's name, but if you look up Bill Maher last Friday, he was on the first part of the show where he always brings a guy out, sits him down, talks about a subject. This guy was a doctor, okay? And he was talking about nutrition. And he sat on government boards that, made these guidelines for nutrition. Dairy. I want to talk about dairy products. I'll let other people tell you about the poisons in our food and all that because other people know more about it. But dairy is something that I've suspected for a long fucking time. Dairy products. Milk. How many of y'all drink milk? Okay. Why? Because they told you so? Because they told you need 2 or 3 cups of milk a day and some cheese and shit? Some bullshit. It's bullshit. Dairy is bullshit. Okay? It doesn't do us any good. Talking about calcium all you want. Anyway, number 1, you can get a calcium deficiency from milk. Number 2, this is the best quote I have ever fucking heard about milk, and I'm going to tell it to y'all. And then y'all marinate on it. Hold on. Just here. Here it is. We're the only species in the world that drinks the milk of another species. Marinate on that. Think about that. Why? Because dairy farmers sat on government councils of nutrition. Okay? Lobbyists. Alright? If you want to talk about conspiracies, talk about this shit. The seemingly smaller shit is where the real bullshit is happening. The wool is pulled over our eyes. The government, if you think the government is fully corrupt, which it likely is, but that's only because the rest of us are just as corrupt. Okay? If you think the government is fully corrupt, then you have to know that for every ounce of energy you spend trying to research these grand global conspiracies, you're wasting valuable time that could be put forth. That energy could be put forth into actually looking at our home. What our system says, why it says that. We don't look at this shit anymore. I'm sorry, my daughter's lactose intolerant. Lots of people are lactose intolerant. Why is that? Why is your system kicking back milk? Because your body doesn't fucking need it. Also, your body doesn't fucking need meat. There's no real proof that your body needs meat. It doesn't. Beans and peanut butter, motherfucker. Beans and peanut butter. Or not peanut butter. Peanut butter will work, but peanuts, nuts, shit. You get your protein and shit from other sources. We don't have to be carnivores. We're sophisticated. We are evolved. You don't have to fucking dig your ass into a huge box of fucking meat for no reason. And I know you're saying, it's easy for you to say, fat ass, how much meat do you eat a day? Yeah. It's got me addicted to it. I quit drinking, and I found that quitting drinking was a hell of a lot easier than losing weight. Hell of a lot easier than controlling my eating habits. You know, and maybe it's just because I have weak willpower. Could be. But I know lots of people who find quitting drinking pretty fucking hard, and I did it. Cold turkey. Over a year and a half now. Not a fucking sip of alcohol. And I don't miss it. But we teach kids at a young age that they need milk and blah and all this. No, they don't. They don't need milk. I'm not giving my kids milk except cereal in the morning. Milk in their bowls. Milk in the cereal. That's it. I barely give my kids milk. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to. It's fucking stupid. Again, and this leads back to civil rights, because back in the 60s, I think the civil rights movement in the 60s towards, you know, racial equality and Martin Luther King and all that was even more effective than the Civil War. People like to believe that we went to war over slavery. It's not exactly the truth. I mean, it is an underlying issue. Don't get me wrong. But slavery was abolished by law, you know what I mean? And people didn't, you know, want to accept that. All right? We were fighting a war to keep our nation together and have everybody on the same page. Really greedy sons of bitches wanted to keep their slaves in free labor and all that shit, so they could keep all their profits and not pay them a dime, and all they have to do is house them and feed them a little bit. You know, we went to war because assholes want us to secede from the United States. Okay? And when the war was over, black people might have been free, but they weren't really free. They were treated like shit, and this is why I say the Civil War was a big giant war, and even in the end of it, black people weren't treated right. You know, it took a long fucking time for the 1960s to come on up. And I think that civil rights movement, the non-violent movement, made the most significant impact in racial equality to date. Since then, it's been a sharp decline. Sharp decline. There are no Martin Luther Kings anymore. There are no, who is that bitch that burned her bra? I can't even remember. There's nobody like that anymore. Where the fuck did they go? Well, the truth is there are people like that. Nobody's listening anymore because everybody's too media driven, too caught up in themselves, too busy looking for shit that might not even be there, that they're not even looking around their own selves anymore for help. We become individuals boxed in by our own brains. We seclude ourselves. We separate ourselves from the rest of the nation. So what is a civil rights activist to do? They still talk. You know, that doctor was talking to you about nutrition. I wonder how many people listen. I wonder how many people care. You know, Cornel West. Cornel West is a smart, very smart man. But, you know, I don't know what it is like in the black community. I can honestly say I don't know if y'all know who he is or if y'all listen to him or anything like that. I know most of the people. I live I'm one of the few white people around this apartment complex, and I haven't heard anybody mention Cornel West. And I think people should really look at him. He's a really smart black man who's educated and who speaks sense. If y'all have ever seen Boondocks and the R. Kelly trial, he was one of the ones portrayed as them uppity. Talking about eating right and shit. I love that episode. But he was one of the ones portrayed. He was like a big afro with a little bit of white through it. And I'm not going to describe who he is too much to you, but nobody listens to him. All right? And let's talk about things that people do listen to. When when people like Martin Luther King become obsolete, you know what I mean? And what I mean is individuals who speak publicly but nobody listens anymore, then you have to turn to other forms of media. You have to turn to other forms of information. And again, there was a time in hip-hop history when a lot of hip-hop artists talked about real shit, real problems, and you know, it was really popular. Okay? And it's not just solely hip-hop. I'm just talking about musicians, artists, actors, actresses, all those people. They tend to be a lot more aware. The good ones come out and talk on behalf of us. The good rappers talk about real issues, not fucking money and diamonds and planes and G6s and fucking all this other yachts. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck how many chains you have, whether it's platinum, white gold, gold, silver. I don't give a shit. It doesn't make any fucking difference. This is what I'm talking about. We become too self-absorbed. It's ridiculous. All right? Who out here would prefer to listen to Mos Def? Very smart dude. I don't know how educated he is. I don't care. He speaks well. He speaks with reason, with common sense. But nobody seems to be listening anymore. You know what kind of shit is popular? That shit. What? Yeah. While Mos Def is talking about real issues, do the Katrina clap, people were fucking shaking it like a salt shaker. And this isn't solely just hip hop artists either. Green Day, one of the best bands that I've ever come across in my lifetime. Now, the bands before, you know, you can talk about how great they are, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, all these people. But to me, Green Day for, 20 years has been a force of rock. And one of my favorite songs by them is American Idiot. But nobody listens anymore. They just, hey, yeah, American Idiot. Or they get pissed off, what the fuck does it mean, American Idiot? They don't actually listen to the words. We've stopped caring. Okay? I know this is jumbled, random. I switch from topic to topic, but I'm just frustrated with Americans. I know you all want everybody to be frustrated with American government, but American government wouldn't be possible without the people in it. And the people in it are just as corrupt as the people running it. Okay? So don't vote. But if you don't vote, don't bitch. Don't talk about conspiracies. Don't do any of this shit. Don't. If you don't vote, I don't want to listen to you. Because you're not going to, it's like you don't have a dog in the fight. If you don't vote, then you don't care. And if you don't care, then what the fuck are you bitching about? You didn't care in the first place. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of this doesn't actually have anything to do with Precise, just so y'all know this isn't like a beef starter vid. It just was inspired by the conversation we were having about other shit, some of which has been discussed here, but a lot of which hasn't. I just want people to wake up, and not wake up in the sense that all these conspiracy theorists want you to wake up, snap out of it, look at the real world around you, new world order's coming. I hope it is, motherfucker. We fucked up enough shit. Globalization. It's the only way to evolve. Everything must evolve. Status quo, staying the same, is non-progressive, and I like to consider myself a progressive.